So let's hear what Idzik had to say. Go ahead.
John, what's your comfort level with Geno starting on Sunday?
We're very comfortable with Geno. He's done a marvelous job preparing himself. You know, he had a little hiccup with the ankle that slowed things down a little bit, but he rebounded well. And we think physically he's back. He's been into it mentally all along, so we're very comfortable with him.
How much performance against the Giants in the preseason, Geno Smith?
Well, that was his first extended play in live NFL competition, so he had ups and downs, but I think the encouraging thing was that with the downs, he never let it affect him. And it's an admirable quality for an NFL quarterback. We're going to have that. You're going to have plays. We play against pretty stiff competition in this league. So you're going to have things not go your way, and it's how you react to that. And I thought Geno did a nice job of that.
Is this competition still ongoing?
Well, as you guys know by now, that's our mantra. Competition is our mantra. So it's really a mindset with us. Competition will always be ongoing. No matter where you are on the roster, no matter who you are in the building, that's what's going to get us better. So we're going to continue to compete at every different position.
John,
so
if Mark had not gotten hurt,
yep.
would Geno be starting this week?
You know what? It's tough to say because we're not going to get into what ifs or hypotheticals. We deal with the here and now. We deal with reality. The reality is Mark got hurt. He's busting his tail to get back. I'm a little biased, but I think we have one of the better training staffs and medical staffs that I've seen. So they're busting their tails too, and we'll deal with what we have in front of us.
John, can you assure that Mark will be on the roster throughout the duration of the season?
Well, again, I don't like to look too far ahead. I mean, the one thing this league teaches you is if you look too far ahead, then it'll come back to bite you. And really, we're just focused squarely on this week, Tampa Bay, with respect to Mark, getting him better so that he can get back and help us win.
Is IR a consideration for him, even the short-term IR?
No, we're not looking at that. We're looking at Mark continuing to rehab. We've said it's day to day. It's very unpredictable sometimes. Mark knows his body better than anybody else. He's working very hard, and so hopefully we'll get him back here soon.
You had said in training camp that you would play a pretty big role in the quarterback decision. How would you describe the role you played in ending up with Geno starting week one?
Well, it's not about I will play a role, okay? It's about we will play a role. This is a collective effort. It's a collaborative effort. Those are not just cliches to us. Those are words we operate by. So it's about everybody having input into strategic decisions like that. And applied to our competitions, not only at the quarterback position, but throughout the roster, and the formulation of the roster for that matter. So there's a lot of discussion that occurs in big decisions like that will affect the long-term benefit of the team.
So you did say you would have a big role. You said I will have a big role in that. So
yes.
Did you have a big role?
I'm not going to quantify. I think that was taken, I don't know how it got to be me. It's not about me. It's about us and what we do as an organization, and we're going to do what we think is best for the team on big decisions like that.
It's anticipated that a rookie quarterback will make mistakes. How much room will Geno have in that sense?
Well, again, we play in the National Football League. Veteran quarterbacks make mistakes too, so we're prepared for that. We're not going to be too reactive with anybody. We're all human, and again, we're playing against pretty stiff competition. So we expect things to go the other way sometimes. It's how you react to that is what's key, and that's what we'll observe with Geno and everybody else.
John, you said it was an ongoing competition. Can you elaborate? How do you evaluate the quarterback at the quarterback position? How would you evaluate Mark or Brady or whoever or Matt Sims if they're not in the game? Obviously, Geno is starting. You would assume he would play the duration of the game. So during the course of the season, during an ongoing competition, how do you evaluate?
Well, there's more to it than just what you see on game day. Obviously, that's the most important aspect because you're seeing them in live competition, and ultimately you want to win the game. So that's the most visible. That's the most obvious to everybody. but there's so much that goes into preparation. There's so much that, in a case like Matt, he's been with us here through the entire summer. He's been studying. I think you've all witnessed his progression. Those of you that were out at Cortland, you've seen him get better. You've seen, Brady Quinn we bring in here. He's an experienced guy. He's a smart guy. He's a quick study. So you evaluate them in the classroom. You evaluate them how they interact with their teammates. Are they a good mesh? You evaluate them out on the practice field, how they apply things that they're learning in the meeting room. And then ultimately, the game is the most visible and obviously the most important.
The message you're sending with the quarterbacks is that it's almost a week-to-week thing with Geno because of this competition, and that you're not committing to him long-term. Is that a fair assessment?
And that's not really, no, Rich. I'd say it's we don't look too far down the road. That we don't want to have any preconceived notions. We just want to deal with what we have on our plate today, and what's on our plate today is Geno's our quarterback going into Tampa Bay, and we're going to try our best to win that game.
Doesn't that hurt his standing, though, in the locker room?
No, we have a very strong locker room. We have a very united locker room, and I'm sure, you felt it when you talk to our guys. They're going to rally around Geno this week, and we look forward to seeing what he has to offer.
Are you worried about him Geno looking over his shoulder, though? If he makes a couple of bad mistakes, are they going to take him?
No, I don't worry about that. I'm sure Geno doesn't worry about that. That said, there's a certain aspect, I guess, if you want to call it looking over your shoulder, I call it competition. Again, that's kind of the impetus for us to get better at everything we do. So if you want to say we're looking over our shoulder every day and using that to get better, then, so be it. But I don't. I think Geno's secure in who he is. I think Mark's secure in who he is. We're certainly secure in who we are as a team.
I mean, you would hope he would shut up at some point. I mean, you got to be kidding me. This man tried to tell you that there are other ways during the regular season to evaluate how your quarterbacks play than the games? Than the actual games? You are going to evaluate them how they study? And this man tried to tell you that the optimum situation in the NFL is to have players looking over their shoulders. The optimum in the NFL is to have top players. When was the last time Eli Manning looked over his shoulder? When was the last time Tom Brady looked over his shoulder? Or Drew Brees? Or Aaron Rodgers? Or Peyton Manning? Or anybody who could play the position? We want competition here. We want players looking over their shoulders. No, you don't. You want stars. You want proven winners. And when was the last time you heard a general manager talk like that about their players? Where's the head coach? Where's the head coach talking about the players? How many of those did Mr. T give when Rex Ryan was here? How many times did you hear Mr. T talk like that for Rex Ryan? About decision-making, who was going to play, who wasn't going to play. How many times have you heard Jerry Reese talk like that? What you want is competition, folks. You always want the players looking over their shoulders. Oh, really? That's what you want, huh? You think Eli Manning is looking over his shoulder tonight, folks? At what? At what? At his Super Bowl trophies? And his answer for Geno Smith was how well he reacted to his poor play in the Giant game. He hasn't played since then. He got better where? He hasn't done anything since then. So we were so taken by how he reacted and how he performed after hasn't done anything since then. I mean, that was scary. I mean, I just want him to be quiet. I mean, stop, please. How much nonsense can you have in one day? And we will evaluate the cornerbacks on things other than the game when the season starts? What?